So you've probably heard about AI or generative AI and how it continues to get better ever since it was launched. And it is getting better. The photos look more real, the video looks more real, and there are things to worry about. Deepfakes are a huge concern, especially in the world of celebrities. And of course, there's always this idea that it's going to take away jobs. And I think there's other uses that people are coming up with that I'm not really a huge fan of. Somebody on Twitter posted how they could take a book that they wanted to see as a film, type it into a prompt generator, and create the film themselves, all through AI, nobody working on it. And while I think that we're a long ways away from that, that is a concern of mine. Because yeah, you could totally skip the middleman in this regard. And by middleman, I mean thousands of people working on a film because you believe that there's a better version of the book out there than the people making the movie version of it. And in terms of animation, the thing I talk about the most here on Modern Mouse, people are worried about AI coming in and not only replacing jobs, but completely making films on their own. I mean, we already saw the intro for Secret Invasion, the Marvel series on Disney+, completely AI generated rather than hand-drawn or CGI made by a real person. Or I guess there was at least one person who typed in the text prompt that allowed whatever weird AI intro that was to actually get made. However, I think that there will be regulation, especially within the filmmaking industry, and we've seen a little bit of that with unionization in order to keep AI from completely taking over Hollywood. Plus, AI can only work from things that have already been made. It cannot create brand new ideas on its own, so originality will still need to happen in Hollywood. And the animation industry in total can actually use AI to its advantage. For years, there have been things like people who are hired to come on and make the frames that go in between the movements. It's really tedious animation work, but it has to be done to fill out an entire film or television series, unless you want it to look really choppy. This is usually a job for people who are just getting into animation. If you go back to the 101 Dalmatians, Rolly Crump, who's now a Disney legend, who gave us things like The Enchanted Tiki Room or It's a Small World, started out as an animator on 101 Dalmatians as an in-betweener, where his job specifically was to draw all of the spots on every single Dalmatian. A job that doesn't sound really that fun, and a job that would probably get me to not want to do animation any longer. And I know that people love to reminisce, as do I, about the Disney Renaissance. Rather than getting a film every few years, Disney Animation was giving us a brand new animated movie every single year, and they were all great. But with that kind of productivity comes a lot of other problems. A lot of the people who worked on those films ended up developing really bad issues with their hands because they were constantly working, pushing a pencil to paper. And while people will still clamor for hand-drawn animation and believe that it's superior to the computer-generated 3D graphics of today, I do have to recognize that tablets and computers have saved people a lot of issues with their hands and carpal tunnel from hand-drawn animation. And because animation has moved to computers or tablets, we not only get more animation every year, but we get high quality animation out of those things. So if you look at going from pencil and paper to computers, that's a tool. And in a way, this AI generated animation is yet another tool to add. So instead of having in-betweeners or having some of these more tedious jobs in animation, we can fill them in with AI. And listen, 100% of the time, I'm not optimistic about AI-generated images, and I am more worried than calmed about the future of AI, especially in a medium that I personally love. But I think we have to be realistic in our thoughts, in the sense that AI is here to stay, it's not going anywhere, and we can't force it to go away. Instead, we can only hope that there's regulations and that there's rules around its use, and that the industry doesn't change so rapidly that jobs are lost because people can't learn and grow with the technology. One of the things that I think about often are the rapid changes in technology from the early 1900s to the 1950s, and how many people during that era had to pivot and change and adapt. because the jobs that they once had were obsolete. And in a time period where it seems like jobs are constantly changing and shifting because the technology is getting faster and faster, I'm worried that some people aren't willing to adapt, but also, more importantly, that we aren't able to adapt as quickly as the technology needs us to do so. So yeah, AI is here, and it's a little scary, and it's intimidating, and there are definitely some bad things that come with it, but I do think that there are some silver linings, and I think that's the truth of it, as well as it would be in almost any industry with any kind of advancement in technology. So there's that. Thanks for watching. Keep moving forward.